Good day, everybody. All right, let's just make sure the audio is working. I think so. Yeah, so let's go over some charts. I'm going to talk about some ideas, high time frame ideas I'd shared, many of them invalidated. And some ideas I'm looking for lower on different altcoins. Going to go over Bitcoin as well. Let's start over on near. There's some levels of interest here. I have some that TA deleted because it's not relevant now. But as some of you know, I was trading this range up on near, this swing failure long, shorted up here, still carry that short. Decided it was more likely we'd break this range down. It wasn't looking very bullish here. We broke it down and back tested it. And this is something I'm going to talk about because this kind of shift in market structure where you lose a level, back test it, lose a level, back test it, it's happening on pretty much everything. And it's a very common occurrence. And it's a great way to look for signs of strength. If we're backtesting a level as resistance or if we're reclaiming it as support, and you can use that to sort of inform your decision which way you're going to go. So anyways, I carried that short down into here, and I was started getting interested in longs. Um, there was a nice golden pocket level here that ended up giving way. But there was some swing failure trades that actually, swing failures at this low, that actually offered some really great positions, about 5% moves. That was a couple days ago. So we got a 6% move. So traded that a bit. We broke down. I took a loss here, and then I opened a trade on this point of control. So it's a point of control off of this volume profile. It's a bigger point of control as well. I've actually just been pulling some volume profiles over different ranges. I'm just going to zoom in on that price action and just show an example of this. And then we'll kind of zoom through the charts quickly here. I'll go through some levels. I just want to talk about this concept. All right. So you can see here, we're just in a trend of breaking down a low. And instead of what's called a swing failure, where you break it down for liquidity and reclaim it, you break it down and you back test it as resistance and you see lower. And you just keep losing levels that way. So when I took the long off the POC, I shared a short video of this on Twitter. When we were here, I was saying, what I'm expecting is we would probably put in a range, and then we could come swing failure of the lows and carry on higher if we're going to, not that we have to. So I took profits on these positions. That's how I like to trade. If I'm trading a level, I don't like to turn a 4 or 5% move into a loser. So I take profits, put my stop loss to entry, and you could have traded the back test of this POC again. There was a swing failure here, but what you can see is we're not claiming this old resistance, right? So this was support. We moved below it. Now it's acting as resistance. We're rejecting from it. And that's why it's always important to take profits off your positions. You can turn these types of positions into mini winning trades. And then if you finally lose the level and you get stopped out, well, you're stopped out and you made money longing here and you're looking for the next level. So that's just an important way to trade. That's how I like to trade. And I like to carry some of my positions lower. So like my near short from way up here, I'm still carrying it because I can open longs at the same time. And if we break down, then I just let my shorts carry on. So anyways, important thing to always look for is if we're breaking down a level, are we reclaiming it or rejecting from it? And you can just use simple horizontal levels for this, right? So let's just go over some TA on near, and we'll move on to some other things. Someone's asking what's point of control. I'll answer questions at the end as I can. It's called the POC is the point of control. It's on a volume profile. It tells you where the most interest or the most transactions of volume happen in price. So you can pull a volume profile over a range of price. I will explain this because I'll be talking about these a lot in this video. And it tells you there was a lot of buying interest there. So there was a bigger point of control. If we pull one over a high time frame on near, all these point of controls align. This little range, this little range, this little range, which was why is a huge point of control. So when you're above it, it's likely to act as support, which is where we got this nice bounce, and which is why I longed there. I gave that update in the members Discord. But I did say when I took that long, my anticipation was a range, so I'm going to take profits. And if we break down, then I'm in a winning position. We broke down. I clearly got stopped out, but I made money longing this point of control. So when we lose the point of control, now that's big resistance. You know, on a high time frame, we need to reclaim that. So I'm either looking for, when I'm looking for longs, I'm either going to be looking for reclaiming some major levels or much lower levels of support, because this is just a very bearish breakdown. So I see people asking about different questions or different coins. I will be getting to other ones, but let's start here. So, you know, on near, I'm always looking for kind of key fibs, kind of volume profile ideas that align with it, horizontal levels. So the 786 fib from this low to this high does align quite nicely with the lows of this range. I might even clean up this chart just so it's not too messy for you guys. Let's get rid of some of these levels. Oh, it was interesting too. This was also a perfect back test of this trend line. So, you know, that's interesting. So what I'm looking for here is a possible move back into the lows of this old range on near. And maybe we reform this range. So let's look at it. I'll just draw it out. But always trading with caution, right? Because I want to be careful. So you can see support, 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 support. It aligns with this 786, so it's a key horizontal level. Now we have to be, you know, we can still, price can just do this, right? Like there's nothing stopping it from doing that. The only way to predict what will happen with price is to be in the heads of the people who have the power to move price. And if they sell, you know, market makers, or if they buy, that's what's going to move price. And unless you're inside their head and you know what they're going to do, you don't know what price is going to do. You just know where there's likely areas of support. But yeah, so that's what I'm interested in. I want to point out too, you know, on a lot of these coins, like I'll get over to FTM in a second. There was definitely some levels of interest here that I'd been looking at from way up here, right around $2, and I've been shorting all the way down, which has been great. But just because I come to a high time frame idea that I really like and I've been waiting for months, I'm not going to trade it recklessly. You know, it's easy to get inside your head and think that you know what price is going to do, but I already know from experience I don't. So I'm just going to trade it normally. I'm going to cut my loss and get out of a trade if the level doesn't hold, because you know I don't have this sense of, oh, it has to bounce here. I'm just looking to trade key levels. I'm very happy I wasn't longing FTM all the way down here. I was shorting it. So, you know, and if my levels don't hold, I'm just going to cut the loss and look for lower levels. It is that simple. You have to be able to accept losses. But I'm going to talk about FTM shortly. So you can see here, this was an old range. I'm interested in this level. There's a few ways to look at this. You look for strength to come in and then trade like a retracement. That's maybe what I'll do. The market's looking pretty weak now. We're losing levels of support, flipping them into resistance. I think there's no hurry. Typically when price reverses, like you can see here, you just get ranges and impulses and then back into the range. So like if you can imagine, if you were trading this down, support, rejection, swing failure of the highs. This is over and over again. You'll see this. And this is why when I say I take profits quickly, I'm expecting ranges and that's why I trade it. It's not because I'm, you know, I'm making this stuff up. It's because that's how price moves. And so if that's what price does, why would it make sense for me not to take profits quickly if I know the most likely scenario is a rejection and a retest of the level, rejection, retest of the level, retest of the level? I can just make money over and over and over again. And you can turn, you know, this is a 20% range, but you can even turn a 5% range into 15, 20% of winning trades. So, you know, I think most people have a hard time taking profits quickly. because they're afraid it's going to go higher and they took profits too soon. Just remember, you can always add to your positions. And same thing, if you're in a loss, if your trade ID is invalidated, just cut the loss. I don't like to risk more than 1 to 2% of my trading account on a stop loss, because I know there's going to be plenty of opportunities. I'm not trying to, make life-changing money on a single trade. I'm trying to trade consistently. So that's near. I don't think we have to talk about too much. I know a lot of people are interested in FTM. So this FTM idea, what I was really looking for here was for this low to be lost into the 786 and for this to be reclaimed. We can go into a lower time frame. This is so we can kind of see like price didn't come straight down. So I'll just show you. This is a long I shared in the members Discord. Some of the TAs deleted now, but I shared this long. I think I took it around here. I saw all this volume come in, this nice wick. And so I took it long, but again, I'm just going to take profits reasonably. There's something like a 3.5, almost 4% move there. So taking profits and putting my stop loss to entry. So I just said I've taken profits on near. I did the same thing. Near, rune, FTM, stop loss to entry. And so what we see here is we lose this. We kind of attempt to try to swing failure this level, and then we just carry on lower. The only level that I had that I thought maybe could get a bounce between here and there, on my chart anyways, was this old point of control. And you can see on the daily chart here, we formed a range. It was a nice point of control. So this volume profile is just pulled over here. And price came down, lost it, and wicked right into it. And then we had this big rejection down to like 15 cents. And this is back in May 2021, right? So I thought that might play as support. We got a little bounce on it on the 15-minute chart you can see here. And hopefully this is helpful because you guys should just know this is how I look at price. I'm looking at, are we getting any kind of support here at these levels? Or are we just continually breaking down, back testing, breaking down, back testing? So we that was this level. We got a teeny little bounce, 2.5%. And we carried on lower. So for now, I have no reason to be opening longs here. Because, sorry about the cough. It's just a falling knife that you don't want to catch. So what I'm looking for is lower. And so here there's a 1-to-1 fib extension. If you go high, low, high, that aligns really nicely with this high, which is sort of a horizontal level. So that's the only support I see between here and here. I don't really see anything else on the chart. So I'm either looking for lower, see if we start getting some nice support here, some heavy volume coming in. That's what I'm looking for, is like people getting liquidated, lots of buying interest, price to stop moving. You see heavy volume coming in, price stops moving. That tells you there's a ton of selling pressure. That can be liquidation, stop losses, shorting. But there's also a lot of buying pressure, and you can start looking at CVD divergences and things like that to show signs that there's big traders trying to hold this level up and potentially push price higher. So yeah, between here and there, that's 60 cents. That's a good ways away. 17%. I'm just going to carry my FTM shorts lower and I'll look for longs there. Or if we can start reclaiming some of these levels, right? And then maybe you get in on a back test of a fib or another level. So I'm looking for strength or lower. Here is just thin air to me, and I'm not going to trade thin air. You can see this move happen quite impulsively. If we lose these levels, anything's possible. That's why I'm going to trade reasonably. It's possible we just break down to 40 cents. It's possible we come back down to 15 cents. I know FTM fans might not think that's possible, but probably didn't think we would be at 70 cents when